Morning, everyone. My name is Leo Balambala, and I'm a administrative assistant at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. And I'd like to welcome everyone today to the January 10th Shotsuki Hoyo or January Memorial Service. Just a few housekeeping things. We are recording this service for YouTube, which will be shown later on. And we request that you mute your mics right now for the duration of the service. And please feel free to stay afterwards to socialize later with the rest of our Sangha members. And so now I'd like to invite Chelsea Arita to read the January Shotsuki Hoyo names. When you hear the names of your loved ones call, I encourage you to offer incense if you have a home altar. Thank you. Thank you, Chelsea. We'll now have a reading of the three treasures, which will appear on your screen or found on page 8 of the Purple Service Book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Next, Minister Assistant Leo Johnson will lead us in Sutra chanting, beginning with the Sambujo, followed by Juseige.
Mujo Midanyorai Niudo Jo San We respectfully call upon Tathagata Amida to enter our homes as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Bujo Shakanyorai Niudo Jo San We respectfully call upon Tathagata Shakyamuni to enter our homes as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Bujo Jiponyorai Niudo Jo Sange Ra Aku. We respectfully call upon the Tathagatas of the 10 directions to enter this dojo, to enter our homes, as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Today, on the occasion of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco's January Shotsuki Hoyo memorial service, we reverently come before Amida with gratitude for the infinite light and immeasurable life that is Amida Buddha. May the light of wisdom illuminate our hearts and minds and awaken us to our self-centeredness. May it stir us to strive for a life of deeper understanding. May the life of compassion warm the humanity in our hearts so that we may truly appreciate and respect the intrinsic value and dignity of all beings. May we, who have come together today, be guided by wisdom and vitalized by compassion. May we continue to awaken so that together, in the spirit of oneness, we can all fulfill the ultimate meaning of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Juseige, from the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life. Gagon Shosegan Ishimujo Do Shigan Fu Manzok Seifujo Shogak Ga Omuryoko Fu Idai Seshu Fu Sai Shobingu Seifujo Shogak Ryokujin Shonen Jo Eshu Bongyo Shigu Mujo Do Isho Tenin Shi Jin Rikien Dai Ko Fusho Musai Do Shoujo San Kumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaihi Chi Egen Meshi Konmo An Heisoku Sho Akudo Tsudan Zen Shumon Koso Jo Manzok Iyoro Jippo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko on Pugen Ishu Kai Hozo Kose Kudoku Jo Odai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Bun Gusoku Shutokuhon Gane Shinjoman Tokui Sangai O Nyobuten Mugechi Tsudaten Mi Fusho Gangaku Erik Toshi Sai Shoson Shigan Yakoka Daisen Okando Koku Sho Tenin Toshi 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 Sho chin myo ke. Namandabu. 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 Ganishi kudoku. Byodo sei sai. Dohon bodai shin. Hojo. On Rako. May this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namandab, Namandab, Namandab.
Thank you, Sensei. We will now have a Dharma talk offered by Reverend Elaine Donlin.
Please join me in Kansho to hear the words of Reverend Kenyo Sato. Since reciting the Nembutsu with gratitude is the very foundation of the Shin Buddhist way of living, it can be said that Shin Buddhists live their whole life with thanks, not only the Nembutsu, but every act one performs is an expression of gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandots, Namandots, Namandots. Well, good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. I'd like to thank my friend Todd for reminding me of a passage which is found in the Honganji's Jodo Shinshu, a guide. It's, do I have it with me? It's that pink book. And Todd and I had been discussing the challenges of late, and he kindly shared this inspiration with me, this particular passage, which I think really lays out instructions on how to live our life as Shin practitioners. It says, quote, "The Honganji is founded on the principles of spreading the teaching, conducting services and observances, educating and nurturing ministers, lay members, and others, endeavoring to awaken others to attain Shinjin, and contributing ceaselessly to the welfare of humanity." So as most of you know, the Honganji is our mother temple in Kyoto, Japan. Hon means fundamental, original, or primal vow, or primal. Gan is a vow or wish, and Ji means temple. So Honganji is the temple of the primal vow. And this refers to the primal vow of Amida Buddha as found in the 3 Pure Land Sutras, especially the larger sutra, which maintains that liberation is possible only when all beings are liberated. That's the 18th vow. So this beautifully altruistic vow is truly the Mahayana Bodhisattva ideal, that our liberation is intimately interwoven because our lives are intimately interwoven. In Buddhism, this is known as interdependence, or more specifically, dependent origination, that all phenomena are produced by causation. And this cause and effect is the basic reality of life. Dharma teacher Thich Nhat Hanh explains this profound interdependence very simply. He says, "The bread in your hand is the body of the cosmos. The bread in your hand is the body of the cosmos." I made it through this past year, which was marked by a devastating worldwide pandemic and great political upheaval and suffering here in the United States, because of the kindness and even the struggles of others, the compassionate activity of so many people, known and unknown. The bread in your hand is the body of the cosmos. Who planted the seeds which grew into grain? Who did all the labor in the fields, caring for the crop in order to ensure its growth? Who harvested the grains? Who trucked them to a facility to process, then to sell to commercial flour distributors, who then sold them to bakers, who then produced that flour into life-sustaining, delicious loaves that I could purchase at my local grocery store? And that's also not taking into account the natural elements needed to ultimately produce this loaf of bread. The rain needed to fill the water tanks used to irrigate the wheat crops, or the sun's warm, nurturing rays needed to convert energy into food, the reliance on sunlight to turn carbon dioxide from the air into food. So when we really look at dependent origination and all that's produced by causation, it becomes clear to me that the bread in your hand is the body of the cosmos. But do I even see the piece of bread in my hand for the dynamic, interdependent system that it is? Our whole life is like this. I am here right now because of causes and conditions that have shaped me physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. One of the biggest reasons I so appreciate our monthly Shotsuki Hoyo memorials is that these services afford us the opportunity to notice, to acknowledge, and to honor those whose lives have intersected and influenced us in some way. Karmic cause and effect manifests in every aspect of our lives, from the micro, right, our very personal interconnections of why we're here this morning, to the macro, which isn't looking at the effect of something, whether it's a raging pandemic, social injustice movement, or political crisis at the highest level, but looking deeply at its causes, which is really the core fundamental teaching of Buddhism. So that's the how part of how we could be living this Shin life, with a deep awareness of our profound and life-changing interdependence. But what about the why? Which is perhaps a question of greater importance, because the why usually precedes the how. The late Reverend Dr. Al Bloom suggested, in this quest for truth, the deepest level of sentiment should be pursued. Religion is always more than emotion and feeling. It must be rooted in perception of truth. Shinran's thought eloquently reinforces that perspective. For Shinran, the awareness of gratitude and indebtedness to the Buddha directly affects our attitude to the world around us. So this awareness of gratitude, what exactly am I grateful for? Well, simply put, everything. And I admit, looking back over the past year, and especially this past week, it's pretty difficult to muster up gratitude. But when I open my heart and mind to the boundless light of compassion shining on my narrowly focused attachments, I'm offered the opportunity to see a different perspective. Dharma teacher and author of the Nikon books, Greg Kretsch, said that gratitude is a function of attention. Gratitude is a function of attention. What have we been paying attention to? What might we be missing? What are we not seeing? We know that gratitude connects us and that gratitude infuses grace. It's been said that Shin is a spiritual tradition that embraces our ordinary life as the spiritual journey. It is our attitude that determines how we see ourselves in the ebb and flow of modern life, and therefore determines how we navigate through the constant changes and challenges of this very real modern life. Gratitude, I think, gives structure to the Shin way of life, even for the very fact that we've been given the gift of life itself, right? We just recited, hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. And I'm not talking about gratitude merely as a superficial attitude, but rather as a deeply penetrating awareness of that which makes our life, our very existence possible, opening one's heart to everything we've received. In a line from the Kyogyo Shinsho, which translates as the teaching, practice, and realization of the Pure Land Way, Shinran wrote, "To awaken beings everywhere to great compassion is truly to respond in gratitude to the Buddha's benevolence." I can't help but be grateful to each of our Shotsuki Hoyo honorees this morning who brought us together out of great compassion to once again receive the Dharma. And in response, I say the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I take refuge in the boundless wisdom and compassion supporting and sustaining me always, whether I notice it or not. Great compassion is constantly at work. Being aware of our interconnectedness involves being aware of how great compassion is always nurturing and supporting us. This gratitude is actually a small shift in one's perspective, but when it's explored, it can be profound and transformative. Please join me in Gassho to close with a reflection by Reverend Patty Usuki. There is so much that I take for granted, so much that I'm not even aware of, that I would surely be grateful for if I knew about it. So many other times when I should be grateful, but probably am not. This is the point. We can never be grateful enough. We can never pay back the debt of gratitude to life. Yet we receive immeasurable compassion just as we are, incapable of any good practice that would lead us to enlightenment. That's just how it works. And for that, despite myself, I feel the gratitude arising, and Namo Amida Butsu whispers from my heart. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandos, Namandos, Namandos.
Thank you, Sensei. We will now have a Gatha in a quiet valley found on page 176 of the Purple Service Book and on the screen. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda Butsu. For today's closing meditation, I'd like to read an article entitled Interdependence. And it's from Reverend Kenji Tsuji's book, The Heart of the Buddha Dharma. When the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and contemplated on the life and the world, he came to supreme enlightenment that everything in the universe was interdependent. Nothing can stand alone. From this conception of the universe, it follows that the self, as an integral part of the universe, exists in an interdependent relationship with this universe. The air we breathe, the food we eat, our inherited political ideas and systems, cultural values, or religious teachings make up the I. Man leans on another for existence, whether those others are objects, ideals, or fellow beings. Wise indeed were the masters of China when they composed the character for man as one line leaning against another. The knowing person understands that he or she is inextricably interrelated to everything in the world. With insight, it will also be seen that there are causes and conditions accounting for the existence of everything. For example, a seed will not grow if left on a dry concrete sidewalk. It must be planted in fertile soil. Rain and sun must nourish it. All these helping causes or conditions determine the growth and the final blossom of the seed. In the sutras or sacred writings, it states, rain falls, wind blows, plants bloom, leaves mature and are blown away. These phenomena are all interrelated with causes and conditions, are brought about by them and disappear as the causes and conditions change. One is born through the condition of parentage. His body is nourished by food. His spirit is nurtured by teaching and experience. As a net is made up by a series of ties, so everything in this world is connected by a series of ties. If anyone thinks that the mesh of a net is an independent, isolated thing, he is mistaken. It is the everlasting and unchanging rule of this world that everything is created by a series of causes and conditions, and everything disappears by the same rule. Everything changes. Nothing remains the same. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda Butsu. I'd like to thank Reverend Elaine Donlin for her beautiful Dharma message this morning. Thank you. And Leo Jocelyn for chanting this morning, and Chelsea Rita for reading the names. Next Sunday is our annual Ho'onka service with Reverend Henry Adams offering the Dharma talk. It'll be a YouTube service at 10 o'clock. And also, our mindfulness meditation meets every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom, and you can contact the church to get the link for that Zoom call. And also, the BCSF book club meets every other Tuesday. The next one will be January 19th. Are there any other announcements? If there are none, this concludes this morning's January Shotsuki Hoyo service. Thank you for joining us. Please stay safe and healthy, and you're all welcome to stay on and say hello to each other. Thank you. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda Butsu.